Animal Crossing. I played it a little, and apparently so did a lot of other people. And seeing the success, Nintendo, dropped all support after one major update. And once a game finally loses support, there's only so many fossils to collect, so much furniture to buy, and so many angles to film from before you've seen everything the game has to offer. So I had to set out looking for a new game to play. And while browsing Steam one day, I found it. Dinkum. I didn't know what a Dinkum was supposed to be, but it's fun to say, so naturally I bought the game immediately. Now, having played it, I still don't know what a Dinkum is, but it's still fun to say. Dinkum. The game starts in a cold grey dystopian city known only as Toronto, where we receive the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to begin a brand new life in the hot, brown Australian Outback. Honestly, not much of an upgrade, but it is nice to mix things up from time to time. On top of that, I just really need the job because apparently I can't even afford shoes. We're given a couple of tents to start off with, and I set off to find a good place to settle down. I decided to move to the north side of the island since that's the only place with any grass to live on. I found a nice new location for our town center, and the locals even came out to welcome me to the neighborhood. Hello there, sir. I'm Devin. Nice to meet you. Whoa. Hey. How? Welcome to the new town hall. I think I'm having deja vu. Here we can craft and talk to Fletch, who will graciously allow us to apply for licenses using a special good boy point currency that we get by completing daily tasks and errands for neighbors. Why does this feel so familiar? After helping Fletch to establish a bureaucracy solely designed to gatekeep literally just me from doing anything, it was time to set up my own little place to live. I decided to live on the beach so I could peacefully fall asleep listening to the sound of the ocean waves crashing upon the shore, and totally not because I was chased away from the town center by the birds. After a long hard day of meeting the neighbors, fucking bird, I decided to take a well-deserved rest and retire to my bed, where I discovered the miracle of flight. The next morning I rise from my bed like a fucking vampire and head out for my first full day on the island. Is that a fucking shark? I want to go back to the city now. I'm on my way to tell Fletch that I'm fucking done here. I run into a visitor, John. Fletch informs us that John might be interested in opening a business in our new town, but we need to butter him up first. This is where we find the gameplay loop of Dinkum. Ask villagers for tasks, do those tasks, and then receive some good boy points along with some other kind of reward. Once they like you enough, the villagers will move into town. They like to do this too. The best reward I ever got for doing an errand was a pair of googly eyes that you can wear over your real eyes. They don't make my character underneath the mask any less depressed looking, but they do a great job of masking the sadness. If you know where I can get one of these in real life, let me know, please. But anyway, when someone deems you worthy of their presence and decides to move in, you need to gather the resources they require in order to construct their home. To get these materials for John, I bought this special pickaxe from him, which shatters not only rocks, but my eardrums as well. Don't worry, your ears stop hurting once you finally go deaf. As a reward for giving ourselves tinnitus, Fletch gives us her dad's old notebook to look at. There's a list of everyone that we've met so far, along with the space for everyone we haven't met. I'm not sure how Fletch's dad knew all of these people from the future, but it looks like there's 16 potential villagers I could persuade to move into our little community. I decided I would challenge myself and have everyone moved in within the year. Sure, 14 more people sounded like a lot, but I had already moved in one person in the first few days and I was feeling confident. After a few days and one new general store, we had our second resident, Theodore, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but that sweater looks familiar. I convinced him to move in almost immediately. The world's tiniest museum was soon complete. It's so cute. Just like in Animal Crossing, Dinkum features a wide selection of bugs and fish that you can catch and donate for later observation. Hey, you're trapped in there forever. I thought that these were all supposed to be real fish and bugs, but there's nothing that can convince me that the Barku Grunter is a real animal, so I'm not so sure. But anyway, with our new museum opened up, things were looking up, and I was looking forward. Every other day, a new potential resident would visit our quaint settlement. First, there was Rain, a simple yet noble farmer. Then came Franklin, a scientist looking to study the strange artifacts littered across our island. Along with Clover, a goth tailor who finally sold me my very own pair of shoes. I love you. Sally, the haircut person, and then Irwin, whose whole gimmick is that he's just Steve Irwin. Then finally I met Melvin, whose defining character trait is that his wife is dead. Not really giving me the same relaxing carefree vibe that everyone else is, but alright, whatever man, you do what you need to cope. Oh, don't be too sad, man. You sound like you'll be seeing her again soon enough. However, there was a problem that needed to be addressed before anyone could move in. Our new museum wasn't cheap. Construction left our town in some serious debt, and unlike my student loan provider, Fletch wouldn't let me take out any more loans until we paid this one off. This is a level of financial responsibility I've never had to deal with before in my life. Every villager represented a new loan that would need to be taken out if I was to complete this town by the end of the year. It was time to start grinding those dinks. I tried a variety of ways to farm for money: cooking, crafting, farming, gathering minerals, channels, but I eventually found that the most efficient way to farm dinks was simply to fish. For the next few weeks, my schedule was simple. I would wake up, talk to any visitors, run errands for them, and then spend the rest of the day fishing. During the fishing phase of my life, I learned a lot, including how to manipulate space-time in my favor. You see, at the stroke of midnight every night, the day comes to an end, but the next day can only begin once you've gone to bed. So until then, time simply stops moving forward, and you're no longer able to use any energy. However, actions such as cooking and smelting can be done without spending any energy at all, so you can spend as long in the frozen time just smelting and meal prepping as you need. Taking advantage of this frozen moment in time, my day was now free to spend every waking moment fishing. I was able to catch nearly 100,000 dinks worth of fish every day, and loans soon became but a mild inconvenience. I even built my own rowboat to catch the more expensive fish that hide themselves away from the shoreline. I love this boat. He can even row himself. Look at him go. He's so talented. But anyways, as the days of fishing turned into weeks and the weeks into month, yeah, just one. This is one of those games with there's only 4 months in a year. Don't think about it. Summer came to an end and the cool winds of autumn swept across our fair island. To the untrained eye, everything may look the same, but if you look closely, you can see that it now says "ought" instead of "some" in the corner right there. Unlike the landscape, however, the fish and bugs available on the island do change. And now the sounds of didgeridoos fill the air, because apparently that's the sound of decided to go with for the dragonflies. Theodore, come look at this cool bug I found. Can't wait for the winter where they just say fuck it and just have a little beetle walking around with a vine boom sound effect with every step. A few days into the fall, I noticed there was a broken radio tower just outside of town, and took the time to gather together the resources to fix it and repair the tower. I waited with bated breath as the tower sprung to life. It doesn't seem to work right now. Very cool, Dinkum. Thank you. So glad I spent all day digging up shit in the desert for this. But the next time that I opened up the map, I realized that this was actually a teletower. Turns out there's 4 of them on the 4 farmost tips of the island in each cardinal direction. I quickly went to work repairing the rest of the towers, and finally I was able to teleport freely between my town and 3 places in the middle of nowhere. Maybe this wasn't as useful as I was hoping. Come mid-fall, I was starting to get nervous. I had been mingling and schmoozing all my various villagers for a month and a half, but none of them had moved in yet. I was beginning to think that my 1-year goal for town completion was impossible. But finally, one fair morning, Rain finally asked to establish a greenhouse on our island. Franklin followed up soon after, offering to establish a laboratory. Stop doing that. And finally, Erwin asked if he could set up a knockoff Petco. He even has all those cages that are way too small for the animals to actually live in them, just like the real place. I leveled the island with the teletower to make room for everyone, and suddenly we were back on track. I even got an achievement in the process for, driving in style? You all know who it is! Devin just dropped 20k on the new Stanley! Don't hate me just cause I'm richer than you, bitch! Yo girl, I got the whip parked outside. You wanna take that barrel for a spin and maybe you and I try a little landscaping? Ah, fuck. People were finally moving in and things were looking up, but the cost of 3 new buildings back to back was weighing on my wallet. I could afford to finance 1 more building, but if both Clover and Melvin wanted to move in, there would have to be a choice. I mean, it's not a hard choice. I'm choosing the goth girl. Like, no hesitation. Like, sorry about your dead wife, dude, but I'm trying to get my own here, if you know what I'm saying. To finance both the widower and my new girlfriend, don't tell her I called her that, she doesn't know yet. I need to get back to grinding those dinks. A new area had opened up to me during this population boom, the Deep Mines, a randomly generated cave system that resets upon every visit. It cost 25,000 dinks for entry, and I wasn't sure if there'd be anything valuable down there, but there was only one way to find out what waited below. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. Violence. There's violence below. Violent, angry animals. I'm also afraid of water all of a sudden. Not sure if that's related. However, I wouldn't be so easily deterred. If there's a bunch of angry animals down there, they must be guarding something valuable. I mean, that's just how it works, right? You fight the monsters and then get rewarded with treasure. Remember, kids, if you see a raccoon coming out during the day, it's not sick. You're just getting too close to its gold stash. Fight it and take its treasures for your own. Anyway, I armed up and returned for revenge. Littered throughout the mines are the ruins of an ancient civilization. The doors on these ruins are locked, but you can open them up using these special keys you find buried throughout your island. Surely, the chests in these ruins are where the real treasure lies. Okay, so we got, a hammer, some tin, copper, a can of paint, and a used AA battery. This is, who felt the need to put this behind 2 locked doors? Not to be discouraged, though. I kept exploring and eventually stumbled across a second ruin, where I found something of actual interest. A hand glider. I don't know what ancient civilization left a hand glider in this ruin, but this shit is lit. This is by far the most fun way to move around the island. On top of my new toy, I managed to pull out this huge ruby, too. I don't actually know how to sell it, since I can't put it in my inventory and sell it talking to John like I do everything else, but it does look cool in the middle of town next to these 2 lumpy piss eggs I found. However, However, until I can sell this gem, it looks like I've lost money on this mining excursion. Sure, this hand glider is cool, but there's money that needs making, because the very next day my goth dream girl Clover asked to set up shop in town, and I'm running out of funds to pay off her loan. It was time to get back to the fishing spot. And then, after a long day of fishing, I visited John to sell my haul. Ho ho ho! I don't know what kind of fish I just sold, but that was more than enough money to pay off a couple of loans. I was absolutely ecstatic until I took a look at the day-end summary and realized that the reason I made so much money is because I accidentally sold my hand glider. I'm so angry I can feel my bat bites tingling. It was 3 days before I could unclench my jaw from anger, but this tragedy represented a possibility. Like a mother selling her child, I had given up the one thing in life that had brought me any joy up to this point, but I had made a lot of money doing it, and that money brought me more joy than any hand glider could. On the same night, John even told me that I could just weigh those piss eggs and rubies on the scale in his store to sell them to him. Bit weird, but thanks for letting me know, John. The ruby alone netted me over 40k. In total, I made nearly 500,000 dinks in a single day in the mines. That's as much as I would typically make from a week of fishing. I prepared myself for another adventure into the mines, and this time emerged forth with 2 giant rubies and a brand new acoustic guitar, which altogether netted me about another 300,000 dinky boys. In less than a week, I had gone from near bankruptcy to being a near dink millionaire, a dinklinaire. But before I could play Spelunky a third time, I would need to get more of the ancient keys required to open the ruins below. I bought a metal detector from John and got to work detecting metals. I was worried that the time it would take to find keys might make these mining excursions unprofitable in comparison to simply spending all of my time fishing. But in addition to keys, I managed to dig up a wide variety of cool looking trash. Of particular interest were the CDs I found resting deep within the soil of the island. I could sell these to Franklin, who is apparently the last man alive with a disk drive in his computer. The money I would get from selling a day's worth of CDs was almost as much as I would get from a day of fishing. So even preparing to go to the mines was turning out to be a highly lucrative venture. On top of that, Franklin would use his science magic to scan the disks for cool new blueprints. All sorts of miraculous devices were discovered, and the once hidden knowledge of motorcycles, jet skis, and even a helicopter became available to us. They were a bit, expensive, but with the monumental amounts of money I was making from the municipal mines, it was merely a matter of months before these miraculous methods of movement were within my meager means. Meanwhile, my mind meandered, and a marvelous gotcha machine managed to make its way into my menu. Mesmerized, I mused to my mega-minded mate my motive to make this machine mine. He mentioned that per municipal mandate, I needed a commerce license first. I don't even know what a commerce license is. On my way to complain to Fletch, the game minimized itself, and now that I've opened it back up, I've fallen through the ground and into the aether dimension. Yeah. Alright, I guess that's the day. After returning from my journey through space and time, I went to the town hall to review some paperwork. There's no commerce license here at all. What the fuck are you talking about, Franklin? Are you trying to keep those Vaporeon figurines all to yourself? Well, I don't blame you, but come on, man. I need it. Well, while I'm here, I might as well get a couple of other licenses. Oh. Fletch, why do you have secret licenses? Are level 2 hunters somehow the only people worthy of a commerce license in your mind? Is the reinforced weaponry somehow required for business around here? What kind of business are you guys running around here? But buying this commerce license I didn't know existed 30 seconds ago really taught me a valuable lesson. I have no idea what I'm doing. If the right to legal commerce was locked behind cricket bats with alligator teeth glued to them, literally anything was on the table now. Those question marks living in my Peoplepedia could be hiding behind the end of any license rank tree. Could have just Googled how to unlock all of them for actual information, but knowing what you're doing is for cowards. The next day, Fletch even told me I had unlocked a new bank deed run by a new villager, Milburn, only further confirming my suspicion that there may just be someone out there that will absolutely not move into town unless there's someone there who can legally craft a crab pot. I decided I would spend more time grinding those good boy points to unlock further licenses. That helicopter was going to need to wait. I'm still getting the gotcha machine though. It's not gambling, it's an investment. That pissing dog figurine is a collectible. In 20 years it'll be priceless, and I'll be able to sell it for a priceless number of dinks. Oh my god, it doesn't do anything. There isn't even an animation it plays when I press A on it. This was my retirement plan, but this isn't a time to worry about that. I have good boy points to earn. I started running errands for everyone I could every day. Here's that fly you want a Milvin? Here's that Barku grunter you needed, Clover. And thank you for the clown nose. I'll take this as a hint that you think I'm very funny. On my way home from talking to my wife, don't tell her I called her that, I noticed something in front of town hall. I'll long has the option to upgrade the town hall been here? I went back through my footage and it looked like there had been an option to upgrade the town hall for almost a month. I just didn't notice. Thanks again for that clown nose, babe. What a nice new building. There's even a book on the desk that gives me some sort of a vague list of accomplishments that Fletch expects from me. Most of these things I'm pretty sure I'm doing already, but on top of my daily chores helping out the townsfolk, I decided to start decorating the town as well, just in case there's someone out there who's waiting for me to put down the right number of benches before they move in. I started with putting up some street lights around town, and then I give the greenhouse its own little motif. And Rain even gave me a book as thanks. This book looks like it'll help me identify plants. Neat. According to this book, this is indeed a plant. Very helpful, thank you, Rain. I'll be sure to hold on to this. Here's that butterfly you asked for, Milburn. Put 'em on! Oh, thongs means flip-flops in Australian. Okay, I thought you were just being a pervert there for a second. God, your toes are so fucking sexy. Once that was over, Melvin finally agreed to set up a shop in town, leaving me with just 7 more people I had to convince to move in the last 9 weeks of the year. And things were looking up because Clover said today was going to be a good day. If she did the sacrifice correctly? Clover, what have you been doing with those animals I've been giving you? Anyway, it looks like she did it right, because I went back into the mines today and found a rare new piece of equipment, the boogie board. It's not quite as cool as the glider. It just lets you swim at walking speed, but at least this will get me a good payday. Oh, John doesn't want this either. This won't even cover the cost of the mining pass I had to buy to get this thing. On the plus side, I finally asked Clover to hang out and she said yes, we're official. I thought we'd be hanging out at my house or something, but she refused to even follow me in. Instead, she would only follow me around town and help me do chores. She didn't disappoint me though. Girl knows how to fight, and she even showed off some pretty cool talent she has. I'd say this was a pretty good first date. I'll leave the dog. Whoa, why do you just smack that dog? You should be smacking me instead. However, that was the last good day I think I ever had. As time passed and I approached the 1-year mark, it was becoming increasingly apparent that I had failed my mission to move in every villager. There were still 5 villagers I had failed to even meet, and the one I did, this merchant on this boat, didn't even like me a little bit. There was no way I was going to get him to move into the island, and even if I did meet everyone, it would be impossible to convince any of them to move in before the beginning of summer. But while I had failed to accomplish the challenge that I originally set out on, there was still a lot that I managed to accomplish in the last year. And although it wasn't everyone I was looking for, I still managed to bring together a small handful of people to create a thriving little community, decorated with the furniture and greenery crafted and planted with my own 2 hands. In the end, I didn't need the meaningless validation of some arbitrary goal to find a sense of self-fulfillment, because I had already brought together a beautiful new life for not only myself, but for a group of new lifelong friends. And also my goth girlfriend who watches me sleep at night. And that's something I could be proud of regardless of any goal I'd originally set out on. Out of curiosity though, who are those last 5 villagers I missed? Alright, looks like 4 of them haven't been added to the game yet. And then the 3 that are actually in the game can't actually move into the town. But wait, that means I did it. That means I moved everyone in. Oh, fuck all that friendship shit. I'm a fucking genius! Woohoo! This took me 2 months to make. Like and comment so YouTube shares it. Bye.